The LG Procast, the podcast, is intended for informational and entertainment purposes only. The views or opinions expressed by the podcast hosts and guests do not necessarily reflect the official position of LG. For the latest and most accurate information about LG products, please consult relevant product manuals and related documentation. The information provided in this podcast episode is for informational purposes only and does not constitute professional advice. While we strive to provide accurate and up-to-date information, we make no representation or warranties of any kind, express or implied, about the completeness, accuracy, reliability, or suitability of the information for any specific application in the following discussion. LG and those posting or otherwise providing information, content, or material are not responsible or liable for any consequences relating directly or indirectly to any action or inaction you take based on the information, content, or other material on the podcast.
Good afternoon and welcome to the LG Procast. I'm your co-host Terry Frisenda, live from my concrete block home here in Hudson, Florida. Joining me today, Mr. Philip Craigbaum.
Hey Terry, good to see you. Yeah, that house is still sitting there with block walls and no sheetrock. So hopefully you guys get that thing rebuilt soon. I know it's been a minute for you.
Yeah.
But today I'm excited. I want to talk about some of our cool equipment that we've got coming out. But we've got a great guest with us, Mr. Aushutosh Suri, part of our engineering team here at LG, and just super smart and just an amazing human being, and is always there to help and support our sales team. So Osh, thanks for being here. Thanks for your time. Welcome.
Everyone. Thank you, Terry. Thank you, Philip, for inviting me here. My name is Aushutosh Suri, and I'm quite excited to be here to get into this podcast. I'm not so familiar with the podcast and all. To talk to you about my background, I am a mechanical engineer by profession, and I'm also a PMP, which is a project management professional. And I've been with LG for a little over 14 years now, and I'm moved from the sales to application side while I'm at LG.
I think about our industry now. It's been changing of late. Probably the biggest and most comprehensive change since we went from 22 to 410A, right? This one may be a little more impactful with the introduction of A2L refrigerants and all the stuff that goes around that. But, you think about any time you change refrigerants, anytime you change efficiency ratings, the amount of work that manufacturers go through. Philip, you said it best. People don't understand or appreciate what has to happen for all that documentation to get cleared and get approved. And so kudos to the engineering team at LG.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, hey, we wanted to pull you on here and kind of focus our conversation a little bit on what LG is calling our unitary line. Basically, when you hear LG use the word unitary, what we're talking about is our ducted solutions, ducted air handlers, soon to be furnace. We've already released our A-coil, and we have a couple of different tiers of that. So we now have 3 full unitary lines. We have our red, which is our cold climate. We have our standard equipment, which is in the 1920 SEER range. And then we have our CV, which is our contractor value line, which is a 16 SEER inverter system. But that's what we're considering base level. Osh is the engineer that is in charge of those lines. I just wanted to have you on here and, see what you could share with us, see if there's stuff that, we don't know. So anything particular, let's focus in on the CV line, if you don't mind, for a moment, because that's sort of new to us in a way. I know we introduced CV a year or two ago in a very limited number of sizes, but now we've got that from 1.5 tons all the way up to 5 tons. So maybe we can focus our conversation for now on the CV systems.
I'm still working. I'm working on, getting the literature material reviewed and to be sent to our technical writing team. for the submittals and for the engineering. Now, it's an interesting thing that you say that this is an entry-level product. Well, yes, it is an entry-level product. When we compare, to our LG Red multi-position air handling unit and the high-efficiency air handling unit. It has the, multi-flow airflow, when I say multi-position, we are talking about the all the 4 flows: horizontal left, horizontal right, vertical up, vertical down. We have an additional, accessory for this transition. But the best thing is that we have an embedded EEV in our air handling unit. We have a unique color which we have introduced, which is kind of a blackish, which is, different from most of the it is not only the indoor unit, but outdoor unit also. It's more of black STS color, what we have introduced. And it gives you a different persona, Then, as you rightly said, the capacities are right from 1.5 ton up to 5 tons. We have embedded EEV in there. How does it help us? So we have 2 EEVs, electronic expansion valve, as to mention that. One is in the indoor unit, one is in the outdoor unit. How does it help? With the embedded EEV in both indoor and outdoor unit, the system, allows us to use the existing pipeline. Say, for example, when we have a retrofit job where you have already a indoor unit which you want to change, but the pipes are embedded in the wall, For this particular case, most of the, earlier installations which were done, they were on the heat, not on the heat pump, on the cooling and the furnace model, right? So with this EV in both indoor and outdoor, it helps us, to eliminate the need to modify the refrigerant pipe. We have to remember that we need to purge it, clean it properly, and then only install. So we can use the existing piping, which is, embedded in the wall for retrofit jobs. In addition to that, yes, sir.
Hang tight, rather. I know if I'm thinking it, some of the folks watching this podcast are thinking as well. With this 2 EEV operation, so I got an electronic expansion valve in the indoor unit, I got an electronic expansion valve in the outdoor unit, and what that does now is allow LG to use an existing line set, right? But now we have a product that allows the contractor in those cases where they use that existing line set. And if I understand the way the system works, in the cooling mode, the outdoor unit expansion valve will be the valve working. And in the heating mode, the indoor unit expansion valve will begin. So we actually are using both of those expansion valves in the course of a normal operation. Is that correct?
Absolutely correct. That is the purpose
Wow.
purpose of having EEV in both indoor and outdoor unit.
Wow, that's incredible. Okay.
That's fantastic. Tell us about those adapters that come with the units. What's the purpose of them, and what are they like?
Then normally small little adapters for the conversion between, a half to quarter or 3/8 to 5/8. Some, that can especially for, our 18,000. I'm not really certain which unit would be requiring that for multi-position. I'm with my experience talking about, let's say, the cassette type. We have an adapter available for that, which comes with the indoor unit. So these adapters are required when the pipe length, the size is different, and when the, your connection size is different. So we provide you with the adapters so that you can connect the pipe easily.
Now, are these flare adapters, or are they flare to braze adapters? Because I think that's what I saw, but I'm not 100%.
Yeah, Philip, up to 30,000 BTUs, they're all flared, right? Then from 30 onwards, the 36,000 BTUs, 42,000 BTUs, 48, and 60,000 BTUs, their outdoor unit would be a flared one, and the indoor unit would be braze. So you have piping connection. On the indoor unit side, you will have a braze connection. On the outdoor unit, it will be a flared connection.
It's interesting. It's a little bit of a change for
Right.
LG. And if I just want to stress real quick, anybody listening, if you're going to braze, you have to run nitrogen.
Yes, it is required. And when you, yes, okay, we'll go forward. Another, another thing which is very interesting because of the constant airflow, that had been a big question. Because for the multi-position red and high efficiency, we have up to 3 ton or is it 24,000 BTUs for constant airflow, air volume, which can flow through without changing the ESP. And, this new little unit, which we call it as entry level, but it does the constant for all throughout the capacities from the 1.5 to 6 tons. It'll settle to whatever ESP is there, and it'll have a constant airflow. So that's a very important point, which I think I discussed with Terry, that based on our, requirements, the ducting or, how the system is being laid out or the application is, we can still do the manual as well. So you can have the manual setting with the setting values on your controller based on whatever the ESP you want to set on. So if you want to be on 0.6 or 0.5, you can do that using the manual progression. But the factory would come as a default with this particular, feature.
I love that.
I love it.
To kind of to restate what he's saying, guys, and if you're familiar with LG's air handlers, we've had this in the past where up to, in the old 410A, up to 3 tons, you didn't have to set the static pressure. It would automatically adapt. You have a high, medium, and low airspeed that you can set, and it's going to run a constant volume CFM through there. Above those 3-ton units, you would actually have to measure or calculate your static pressure of your duct system. And then you go into some tables and you figure out what the motor RPM needs to be for your airflow at that static pressure, and you put it in the controller. So the new CV line is automatically going to have the constant volume right out of the box, all sizes, which is fantastic. We will have the ability to also set a manual fan speed. And I get that question every once in a while. I had a guy, I'm trying to remember where he was. He was way out in the desert, and they did not want to remove any humidity at all. And they wanted this thing to run at like 600 to 700 CFM per ton. And I was like, well, if we manually set it, you could do it, because they want to conserve all the moisture in the world that they could. So they really wanted to crank that airspeed up. So knowing that we can do both is really, really cool. So I'm glad you brought that up.
Yep, that's powerful. I heard it too. I was waiting for my chance to speak to him. Like, oh, because yeah, you beat me. I got to tell you, and Philip knows, and the folks at LG that are in the field selling know, our ducted platform is a phenomenal platform. And the good news for us is, man, Philip and myself and a bunch of other folks in LG got really good at doing that.
Our features, I mean, before we, I would want to add is the auxiliary heater kit is also included with our CV model as what we have for the LG Red. It would be there,
Okay.
Then we will also have our integrated 24 volts transformer where you can have a 24 volt output. There's so many different, contractors require accessory for standard thermostats or float switches or, overflow protection and all. They need to have a additional setup for 24 volts, which we will have with the indoor unit, which would be provided. And
that's super news for us as well. But in high humid climates, a lot of folks are using some type of air purification system from one of the manufacturers out there.
Yeah.
And there's some really good ones out there, right? I got to find a place to put it. I got to put it in this, so having that on board now, powerful. So again, another great move. Hey, listen, that stuff happens because our Korean engineering and leadership team, when they come out to your market and they visit you and you're set up to have a meeting with these folks, go to a job site, go to shop, man, that's because those guys are listening to what you have to say. Okay.
Absolutely.
And I have been in this business a long time. We've discussed that a million times in this podcast, but the speed to which LG manufacturing can get an idea into a product is amazing to me. Sometimes I wish it would happen faster, but in the speed of things, it happens fast from a manufacturing perspective.
Yeah. One thing I want to mention on there that is a change from our 410A model is we have actually removed the dry contact that allows you to connect a 24-volt thermostat from other brands. It is now an accessory. If you're using an LG controller, you don't need to utilize that dry contact. So now it's being offered as an accessory, which is, in my opinion, a very good thing because we get better performance when we use an LG controller. The good side of it is when you want it, we'll have it. And we also have it available with our newer upgraded dry contact that has a lot of our algorithms built into it that keeps a lot of the inverter characteristics of the system instead of just being an on-off system, which is how the old dry contact, the 300 worked. The 320 has those algorithms built in that allows it to still maintain the majority of its efficiency. I don't know what the percentage, Josh, you may know that if there is a number assigned to it, but just knowing that is available, but also knowing that it doesn't come in the box, because I have gotten that call from a couple of guys. They got some of the first couple of units and they did want to run a 24-volt thermostat. So now it's available as an accessory. And then one other note that I wanted to make, they have completely redone the downflow kit. I think it's like 3 pieces now and
Absolutely.
super easy to put in. Maybe you can tell us a little bit more about that.
So earlier, there's a downflow kit, which would match all the different sizes, which means the NA, NB, and NC chassis. You don't need to have a different downflow kit. And it is just you can do it in less than 10 minutes, that entire downflow. Also, another feature which was very important I wanted to add was the fan. You can just pull it out like, there's a guard which is there. You open up 2-3 screws and you can just pull it out. That's how great it is. Yeah, it's super simple. Another point which I wanted to add was that all our auxiliary heaters would come with a disconnect switch. Heaters are powered from outside. Right. It's just like indoor units are powered using the outdoor unit. There is a provision we can power it from the supply from with a different connection. But with the disconnect switch, which is required for the auxiliary heater, otherwise you have to have a disconnect switch separately. You have a line and then you go through it. So this is all what changes we have made is per the feedbacks what we get is from the field, and also to help our contractors to have this facility flexibility to do the install. The A coil what we put in the multi-position air handling unit is amazing. We have embedded the leak detector. It is a code requirement to have this. All our units would come embedded with this leak detector sensor with the alarm. So these were a couple of points which I wanted to add, and I cannot think of anything else. The filter, to remove the filter. Now it is a slide kind of a operation.
Mhm.
Just slide it and it comes out.
So let me see if because we are getting short of time here. So let me see if I could sum up, or attempt to sum up
That'll be
some
great.
of the highlight stuff, right? First and foremost, 18K through 60K, right? New color, which I can tell you the feedback from all the shows that we've attended with the color has been absolutely positive, right? It is a great looking color, constant torque motor, crazy, four position, up, down, left, and right, easier downflow kit, use existing line sets, use powers from the indoor, powers from the outdoor, heaters have breakers. And just look and listen to all the stuff that's included in this system. It is the stuff that contractors want, homeowners want, builders want at a value. Man, we've hit a home run here, and I got to tell you, I'm excited to be a part of this.
Yeah, absolutely. But want to throw one thing out, and I know we can't really unpack it, but as we're talking about this unitary lineup, I want to let everybody know that we have now introduced our A coil, our standalone A coil, which allows us to become a dual fuel system with a gas furnace. So as of the date of this podcast, we have not released our gas furnace yet. That is in the works, I believe. But we have the ability to take our outdoor unit with our coil and put it with anybody's gas furnace. We can now have an officially matched system for you guys. So like, I know we can't unpack this right now. Obviously, go find your distributor, go find your LG sales guy. Me, Terry, anybody from our team, we would love to tell you a little bit more about this product. So guys, we've covered a bunch. Ducted stuff. Obviously, this is a huge piece of our portfolio moving forward. So I was excited to talk about that with you guys. Osh, as always, thank you. Thank you for what you do behind the scenes. I appreciate you, but thanks for coming, hanging out with us, spending a few minutes of your day with us. I know we have fun on here, so it's a good time. Anything else that you want to give us before we close out? And then I'll throw it over to you, Terry.
Thank you very much for the invite, and I appreciate you guys as well. Thank you.
Hey, Osh, Philip, guys, thanks a ton. Listen, this is a very exciting product for me, and I'm proud that that LG has done what we've done to introduce this product, and I look forward to the success that I know this product's going to bring. So, for the LG Procast team, Osh engineering team, LG Electronics, thank you so much for being a part of this today. And we look forward to seeing you in another episode soon here at the LG Procast. Goodbye.
See ya.
Right.
This episode of the LG Pro Podcast was recorded in May 2025 by LG Electronics USA Inc., LG, and features a discussion between LG hosts Terry Frisenda and Philip Craigbaum and guest Aushutosh, Osh, Senior Engineer and Project Manager with LG.